are just the lingo that you'll hear thrown out throughout the discussion. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to start talking about types of grants. And I know that you're probably here because you have some idea, or you think, well, I would really like to have money for some funding for some areas of research I'm doing, or maybe some activity I want to do in the future. And so you have something in mind, possibly. So the areas that you see out there are broad areas that you fund, but there are lots more probably that maybe you can have adjustment you can think of. So what I thought I would do is just go through maybe some of the things that I had funded and let the two of them also talk about things that they had funded. So I've had things funded under several different areas. One is research and development. So one of my interests in the past has been to help students who are visually impaired learn to study math and science. So I was working with a technology, computer technology with a peripheral device that's by your computer that allows you to feel things using the computer, a 3D shape that you felt using a haptic device. So we thought this was excellent technology. We thought that we need to get this out to the community. We need to help students. So it was like a 15-year journey for me to getting funding from different agencies to try to bring something like this to market. So I started very early on with a research and disabilities education grant through the National Science Foundation. And then later, I was able to get some money from the Department of Education to actually create a product. So cobbling together different kinds of funds allowed me to actually start a little business and create a product and sell that business to teachers of the vision impaired. So that's one of the things that I've had funded in the past. 2 different agencies I worked with to get money, and it was over $1 million to do this. So there's significant money out there for the right activities. I'll let Jessica tell you some first.
So I'll talk a little bit about how Marjorie and I are working on together now. We thought about over the last year or so was to try to build better networks between people in our department who do research in math and create more opportunities for our graduate students to go out into industry and do internships. So here in engineering, we probably had a lot of experience with internships going through undergraduate school, getting into grad school. But we don't quite have the same happening in dynamic. So Marjorie and I have looked at several smaller grants, and we've got one funded recently to place some students next summer in internships, and that's kind of the beginning of what will probably be a long 15-year journey for that project as well. But that's kind of one that we've just started, and that's a grant that is a student support grant. So that's not a research project for us necessarily. That's not something supporting our own research program, but we wanted to build networks and communities for our students to have connections that we didn't know were already in place. So student support is one type of grant that we can get. I've got grants for curriculum development, both externally and internally. So those are things to think about as you move from being a graduate student also to going to faculty and academia. The kinds of things that you want grants for may change as you go through curriculum development, implementation, research, of course, and outreach. So I've only worked really on one big grant for outreach, I guess, to one with local teachers throughout the state of West Virginia to build up some of their math skills. And then more recently, a program that one of the graduates written this summer with middle schoolers throughout the state, a science opportunity for them to come stay at WVU for a couple of weeks and do some science activities. So there are kind of grants for everything out there. We have a really good idea. You can find programs that is. Oh yeah, so also research, curriculum development, but another one is teaching. And so when I was getting ready to go on sabbatical, I started thinking that we wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to be on sabbatical and to leave for a little while and go kind of have a change of scenery. And so I was able to apply for a Fulbright grant and get supported to go teach in Hungary for a year. So that was a lot of fun and an opportunity that we want to take advantage of being in academia and having something like a sabbatical, but wanted to make sure that it was not just a vacation. Have some work to do. So getting some funding to go teach in a new setting. So that was didn't want to.
I actually would like to use this because what you're going to do here is going to help us throughout the presentation. So let's get just by a show of hands. Let me know who is in STEM, any other STEM discipline? Okay, humanities? Social science? Okay, great. That just gives me some idea of how to share the conversation, make sure we're covering everything. I think we covered, Margie and Jessica have done a great job of listing the types of grants. The only other thing that I was going to mention in addition to the fellowships is sabbaticals. Sabbatical funding is a little bit different, searching for that particular type of funding. So there are disciplines that it is more prevalent in to have sabbatical funding versus a fellowship. And so that's another thing about just knowing the language about exactly what it is you're looking for. And then as you start doing this and you get some experience under your belt, you start to see there are certain sponsors that really fall into certain categories. Also, the scale of your budget, the scale and scope of your budget will help you identify the sponsor. One thing that I generally do, we have a lot of faculty that come and they want to start initially with beta test an idea. And if it's just a few $1,000s, then that's usually a place where we look at and say, okay, we need likely a foundation, or we need an internal source of funding. So that's another type of grant is internal funding. And you can start there and build your base, do proof of concept. So whenever you go to apply for an external funder, you can show that your institution or your employer has invested in you, and that you have some idea. First of all, you're going to have data. Whatever your data looks like, whether it's quantitative or qualitative, you're going to be able to show them that, yes, I thought this through, I have a plan, this works, and there's going to be quite a bit of things that didn't work. And those you definitely want to talk about. Counter to what you might think, you want to let them know what went wrong and how you were able to resolve it, or how you resolved it. That's one of the visions.
So we'll talk a little bit about how hard it is to get grants sometimes. And I'll just tell you the Fulbright that sent me to Europe was actually an internal proposal originally here at WU that did not get funded. But I kept talking to my colleague in Hungary, we kept realizing that proposal, and it was actually around the same. We had to go and do that, but those things that seem like they're not right in your proposal may just be that you're applying for the wrong type of program and figuring out where the right fit is for it, and not necessarily be, creating the project, but figuring out where it needs to go.
Yes, I think Jessica brought up a great point because I planned on saying that I've had a lot more unfunded proposals than I've had funded proposals, even though, had quite a few funded, so many more I wrote that weren't funded. But the more that you write and the more that you submit and the more feedback you get, the better you get at it. And so it's always, don't ever get discouraged. Oh, my first one didn't get funded or my second one. You have to really keep at it and you can start getting advice from people who are successful. That's what I mentioned that note.
Not to get too far off track of where we're trying to keep ourselves focused, but on that note, just to make sure that what you're doing is synergistic. So anytime, and particularly if you are interested in a tenure track line, you come in the door, you have a certain amount of time that you have to show what it is that the institution is actually doing. And a research institution, grant seeking is likely going to be part of your activity, and that's regardless of your discipline. So that's important to know. So when you do something, it will give you a lot less heartburn if you know that what you're doing is going to help you along. So if you are writing that proposal, figure out a way to where that proposal and the outcomes of that are also going to help you with publications. If you have a different venue, if you're going into more of a business sector, figure out what the currency of the realm is for that. And again, make sure that whatever you're doing is synergistic, because otherwise it can take you on average of 3 submissions. Now, if you think about that and a sponsor only opens up that competition potentially 1, maybe twice a year, you're going to lose a lot of time and not have a lot to show for it if you're not thinking that. So whatever you do, you have to go in and think, how is this also going to do double or triple on the work we're not putting in?
Oh, the next thing is how do you find?
Okay, I need to.
Okay, Katie's going to address how do you find opportunity. So one of the, we can start talking about that. One of the main things that I do when I'm looking for an opportunity, I use Google. Okay, so I go and say, I want to fund this activity, I want to create software, who funds that? And then, Google, great source ready. But that may not yield a lot of return. So the National Science Foundation website, if you're in the sciences or engineering, is a great place. And also they now fund the social behavioral sciences. So the National Science Foundation website and any of the agency websites that you think may provide funding like National Institute for Health and other agencies. Their websites, you can search there.
Okay, I can talk really loud, so hopefully you can hear me. If you can't, way back in the corner, let me know, and I can talk even louder. I just wanted to show you, I actually don't have to log in to show you this particular component. We're really fortunate at WVU. I've been here quite a while. I'm actually finishing out my 12th year here at West Virginia University. When I first came, we had a different product that we used. Pivot, which is part of, it used to be computer science, they just had a merger. You don't care about that. What you care about is what you can do with this tool. The algorithms that run on this particular funding opportunity is what you're going to see in every major R1 institution. So you're going to be able to go in, I'm going to show you a couple of tools that you can use. You have access to this because you were a student at WVU. You can create your account, you have to create your account while you are on the campus of WVU. But once you have done that, you can sign in and use this system anywhere that you have an account. So just keep that in mind. If you try to sign up and you're not at the WVU computer, then it's not, you're going to have some challenges. So once you do that, it will be off campus. So I did want to let you know immediately, just whenever you log in, this is a new tool that they've developed. So I'm going to scroll down here. So I kind of have an idea of just kind of thinking about who the audience might be. But if you scroll across here, this little pinwheel, you can get an idea of the kind of money that's out there. And if you click on this is what's great about Pivot. Just keep in mind, almost everything is clickable. So as you click on it, you're going to drill down and get even more detail down the record level data on this information. So if we go back and let's just say we're going to do engineering. So we click on that. This is going to give us a list of funding opportunities. If you scroll, and this is the way every screen operates, whether you're looking for a profile, for a collaborator, or whether you're looking for funding, if you go to the far left, it's going to be able to give you categories and of course let you know the number of hits or data that you have in here that is related to. So there's always tools and shortcuts for how you can drill down to exactly what you're looking for. This also is really nice because it has a tool that allows us at the institution to be able to post internal competitions and rules and such for. So for example, on here you'll see one of the first things that you see is a limited submission. A limited submission means that you should know this no matter where you work. If you read an RFP, program announcement, or solicitation of any sort that says you can only submit one for your institution, you better be talking to somebody higher up the chain. That's when you want to contact your research office, or if you're in college, or your ADR, your research team, someone to notify them that I have an interest in this, and if there needs to be an internal competition, which is usually the case at an institution the size of WVU, unless it's a very specific niche area, we're going to do a limited competition, meaning we're running a competition internally to determine who's going to represent the institution. So that's another part of kind of like language and grant lingo. If you want to do, we'll back up a little bit. So if we just go up here to the funding site, this takes us back to that little pinwheel. But if you go up, you can do an advanced search here. And what's really nice about this is if you are in a field or studying a particular area where you often get terms or hits that come back because, gosh, this X word is associated with Y, and every time I do a search, it's giving me this, and I do not want that. What's really nice about these parameters is you can tell it, give me this, but not that. And then that way you can eliminate that. You can say, okay, that's not at all what I want. And then once you find a particular thing that you like, you say, that's exactly what I want. This gives you a feature so you can go in and say, give me more of that. You can click on that, you can save that search, you can have it sent to you automatically. So you don't have to rerun the search unless your research project changes or you have something else that you want to look for. It also has a sharing capability. So you can create groups. So you do not necessarily have to be internal to your organization. So if we are collaborating with an outside partner, I can then add the email address for that individual and they will have access to that particular RFP. They won't have access to the whole program because their institution is subscribed to course. They will have access to that and you can have those conversations to determine whether it's even something you want to pursue. If you are looking for collaborators, speaking of collaborators, you may have internal collaborators, you may have individuals that you think they would be great to partner with. Maybe they're not available because of their timeline on research projects. This gives you an opportunity to look at, just as we're searching for external funding opportunities, you can look for collaborators. You can go in with similar key terms and say, who in the area is doing X? So if you're a faculty member at WVU, we actually populate this whenever we subscribe to Pivot. They went through and they pulled a lot of information from various websites and developed profiles. So if a faculty member goes in under their profile, they can already see the number of hits just based on what they do to say, you might provide it. So why would I care? I'm a student. Why do I care what the shows on the faculty side? Because if you go to another institution and you're interviewing for a faculty position, you might care if they have this type of service. It's a really good indicator of, and I'm not saying this is the only service, there are multiple ones, but this really is the gold standard of finding funding opportunities. So it gives you an idea of what the institution is willing to invest to make sure you have the tools you need to do your job. So that was just a quick overview, but I'll go back to the presentation. Unless there's questions. If you have questions, you're going to see something.
I'll say a couple of things about Pivot real quick. The other nice thing about Pivot is you can set up with keywords the things that you are really interested in, and every Sunday it sends you an email with the new solicitations that have come out for those keywords, for any searches that you save under your profile. So when I'm really busy with grants and I feel like I have enough to do, I can ignore those emails, but when I feel like the project's going to come to an end soon and I start looking for another one, those emails are really helpful to just show me, oh, this new thing came out, I haven't solicitation before, I've never heard of this grant. And then as we're talking about places to look for funding, one thing I've done before is when I find people that I kind of look up to in my field that I feel like are doing a really good job, to see where they have funding from. So people who are interested in the same kind of research that I am, it's not that hard to find people's CVs online or on their page and to find out what kind of projects that they've been able to have funded and where they've gotten that funding.
I think Jessica makes an excellent point. Another passive approach to kind of looking for the sponsor is that often, and absolutely pay attention to this, if you want to be a good citizen, we talk about being good university citizens. If you want to be a good citizen of your sponsor, read your terms and conditions. So when they give you the award, make sure you read through and know exactly what it is you're required to do, but you are often, if not always, required to acknowledge the sponsor's support. So in various publications, if you pay attention, it's kind of like the captions on a photo. If you pay attention to the bylines in various articles, they will know where their sponsorship came from. So that's another great way to kind of see, okay, who funded this research? How are they able to do this? Especially if it's a large scale project, and you know, you're probably going to do that with just money.
Okay, the next thing that we like to do is break up into some groups. I would like you to talk to some people around you, find out who is in your same discipline, and who might have similar interests. And then I'm going to pass out a worksheet in just a second. And I want you to try to figure out what kind of activity you would like to have fun. Would you like to go to Europe for a year with Jessica? Or get a fellowship of some sort? Or, you know, Fulbrights are for students too. Yeah, you can get Fulbrights for students as well. Or would you like to create something, develop something? Just think about the activities. I know you're here for a reason. You didn't probably just come here to have a fun activity for the afternoon. You have something in mind. So I want you to think about that. I want you to share it. So get in groups of 3 or 4 in your same discipline. And I'm going to bring around the worksheet that you can start looking at to guide your thoughts about what you might want funding on. It sounded like we had some really good discussion going on. It sounded like everybody found somebody to talk to that was at least interested in what their field was. It wasn't exactly the same field. I wanted to do this little breakout session so that you would have something in mind when we start talking about how to read a solicitation. And those two worksheets were something Jessica and I developed when we did a class last year. And it was for the grants of the online. Yeah, it's been long. Yeah. So I don't know if they still have an archive or not, but these similar slides were used and the similar worksheets were used. And we actually had them do homework and turn it in using these worksheets. So these are just something that we came up with to try to tell you how we start our process to go through. And so the first one, actually, Jessica pointed out on the yellow one, it says, you know, make a list of big ideas that results from reading the request for proposals. And so, and then the green sheet is actually how to read a request for proposal. So really the yellow sheet comes after the green sheet, but this kind of guided your idea of what to think of. Think of the big ideas, think of the budget, big ideas, and what's the time frame for that. But really, when you start reading a solicitation, the first thing that you have to figure out, when is this due and how long do I have to write this? And so I worked with Katie a lot on writing proposals, and we like to find something that's due about a year from now, because it's a hard process of pulling things together for a grant. How about Jessica shaking her head? So the first step, of course, is finding that RFP. If you have an idea, I guess that's the very first step 0. And then step 1 would be to find that request for proposal, solicitation, call, agency call, whatever it is that says, hey, we have money in this area. Once you do that, then you're going to note the due dates. That's the first thing. And then look at the agency and the program goals. Because if you want funding from this agency, then you need to align with their goals. Sometimes you'll find something that sounds good, and you'll start reading, and you'll say, oh, this isn't exactly aligning with what I want to do. Then you have to decide, can I change what I want to do to align with their goals? Because they're not going to change their goals to align with your proposal. So you have to think about that as you're looking at it. And then you have to start asking, you know, what exactly is the agency asking for? Is it program development? Is it research? Do they want an outreach program? Are they trying to help kids learn? You know, do they want to give you money to travel, to increase my career? What are they asking for, and what do they want to fund? Okay, I'll give Jessica a chance to talk.
Sure. When it comes to reading a solicitation, it's isn't there the due date is really important. We can't stress that enough. But one thing you need to know is that if you're submitting through an institution like WVU, you have a different due date. You have an internal due date that is earlier than that, and your institution will tell you how long in advance you need to submit it, because they want to check it and make sure that it aligns with everything it's supposed to, that all the right pieces are there, that you have it formatted right, that you're not missing anything. Because your institution wants you to get the grant, they want the money. So we have an office here at WVU, Office of Sponsored Programs, and their job is to check proposals, and they actually do the same for us. So 5 business days before it's due to the NSF, I have to make sure it's into OSP, so they have those 5 days to go through and let me know, like, KPIs, the CD is in the wrong format. And that is the last thing you want to have your proposal rejected for, is because you didn't check the format. But when you have 27 documents to put together, sometimes things slip through the cracks, and there's someone whose job it is to check that. So due dates are really important, but don't rely on that date. Another thing, I was once at the NSF working on reviewing grants when their system crashed because there were too many graduate students trying to check whether or not they had gotten the GMRP or whatever it is. And so if you wait till the last minute, there will also be problems with the crashing. So make sure you know your own due dates.
I was just going to make a couple of notes about that. So in addition to looking for the agency program goals, I want to make sure that we're being cognizant of the various audiences that are in the room. So of course, course, when we're referencing more complicated kind of solicitations, those are going to be from the larger agencies. And when you have collaborators, it's going to be even more complicated. So I'm also reading body language. So when we talk about due dates and having to start a year in advance, let me give you an example of how that's necessary. So for example, WVU has a principal investigator that has an innocent hire that has multiple collaborators from various countries. When you are starting to try to do something like that and pull together and create subcontracts and consultants and figure out timelines and how much it costs to get people here, to have conferences, to get to other locations, because you're not going to just have them at your home location. You're going to have them in all those different countries. It takes a lot of time. And if you don't have a team, that's what I would advise you, that whatever your function is, whatever your choice is, as you go in, figure out who your team is. And I will tell you, I see this way too often, that an organizational chart is incredibly important. It's basic, it's something we talked about very, early on in our academic careers. It's not used very often. It's very important to find out who the people are in the organization, what are the units that can help you. There are at least, in addition to your college level office at WVU, there are 2 other fiduciaries that help with various external funding just at WVU. So it's important to know who the players are, who you go to for the assistance that Jessica and Margie have mentioned. I also wanted to talk about foundations of it. So foundations are a little bit different. The budget that you're going to develop for foundations are usually remarkably different, but also is the solicitation and what you're going to do. And oftentimes, you'll see a sigh of relief from a lot of individuals when they look at a foundation RFP and they say, oh, I only have to write 5 pages. Let me tell you, that is more difficult than having 15 pages in a lot of cases, because you have to write really tight. So another thing that I would say is just to really start out, everybody has different approaches on the writing style, but outlining is an excellent tool. If that's not something that you do already, I would highly recommend it, because it's much easier to look through something and pass that on to someone who's a generally intelligent person and say, does this logic flow? Does this make sense? And move those around versus writing lots of text that at the end of the day, you may not be able to afford to do, and you may not be able to fit into your proposal. We'll talk a little bit more about that under the budget, but I just wanted to make sure we were addressing kind of larger projects and then also starter projects.
Yeah, I didn't mean to scare anybody by saying it takes a year to write a proposal, because some proposals are very short. And like the MAA tensor that we wrote was what, 3 or 4 pages? 3 pages, yeah. And it was for $6,000, so it's not a lot of money, but $6,000 is okay, That will fund a couple graduate students, and then you can get matching funds possibly from our department, we can get matching funds. So those kind of things, there's all levels of proposals. But the key is looking at the guidelines, reading the solicitation carefully. The next slide says determine how much money is available for your award. So if you want to do a big project and there's only $5,000 available, you have to scale it back. Maybe you could take a part of that big project and say, okay, for like we were doing, like we wanted to do an internship for graduate students in our department. We want to fund those graduate students and send them out to businesses everywhere, but we have to start somewhere. So although we would like $1 million to do that, we'll start with 6,000, and then we'll fund the first piece, and we can show that we've done something, and then the next agency we can write to and say, this is our start on the project, so seed money.
Familiarize yourself with, I'm going to tell you, do not leave this room without one of these terms. Facilities and administration, overhead or indirect costs, they all mean the same thing. They are often used interchangeably. You need to know what that rate is for your institution. Do not look at the call if you were at any major research institution or even other venues, because that fee is actually charged to all the support we're talking about. That's what it covers. It's there to help support the institution to do the research that we do, have the laboratories that we have. And so that is a cost. It's called indirect costs that are on top of your direct costs, which is your personnel, your travel, all the things you're already thinking about for your project. But if you go in and don't know what that rate is, you may end up having 50% less of the budget than you think. So that's really important to find out what the institutional policies are and figure out if there's any tools or templates in place to help you make sure that you're doing these calculations. It is 50%.
So yeah, it's not exaggerating, but when we put together a budget, I have to make sure that it is, that I can add 50% of it onto Excel, so really 1.5 times what everything's going to cost me, and that will still fit within an agency's allowed budget. So I don't have really what they say for my project, I have a little bit less than that to go.
Like when you go to the store and you have to pay tax on something, it's a tax on top. This tax happens to be 50%. Yeah, so
It is a tax that you directly see benefit from, because you have that support to help you with the budget.
yeah.
No, I have to say.
Just need to be aware.
Be aware. And it's not unique to WVU. Businesses, I've worked for companies that charge 100% tax on top. And, so.
Think tanks even more than that.
Yeah, think tanks 150% on top of, so they get, $50,000 to do the work and $150,000 for the tax on top. So, I mean, and funding agencies, depending on, if they think you're a great potential to do great research, they will give you that. So.
That's also used, oftentimes, for think tanks, just to clarify that point, why that's important, is that they often are fully funding their staff, their research staff with those funds. So that might give you a better idea of like where those funds are going. Oh my gosh, they must have the best buildings in the world. Well, some of them do have really nice infrastructure, but it's also to cover the personnel that help them conduct those projects.
And, we were talking about reading the solicitation. You want to click the next slide. And Jessica added this one, and I love it because it looks exactly like what I do when I read the solicitation. Right.
That is the solicitation I was reading.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I sometimes feel like I'm disposable and I need paper documents to read sometimes, but when it comes to solicitation for a grant, it is really handy to have that with you all the time, because you can think of something and be like, I don't know if that's allowed or not. You need to flip through those, however long our solicitation,
Usually 20 pages.
yeah, solicitations can be 20 pages, and you only get to write 15 to respond to it and tell them what you want to do, but there's going to be a lot of information in there that tells you who's eligible, who can you have on a project, how many people can you have on a project, what are they allowed to do, how much funding can each person get, how much time can they work. All of those little details that are part of your project are in there. Every question that you have about that should be in there. And so this is the way that I go through the solicitations. I go through and I highlight all the really important things. As I'm reading something, I'll make a note on the side, like, oh, it has to be a 3-year project. In case I was thinking I might want to do something longer, or I want to do a 1-year project. Hopefully I can, and I need to know that I need to change my project.
Well, and look at this. She's got a bunch of X's on there. So when you get these slides later, you can zoom in and see what it is. There are 3 types of projects that can be funded. So she read the first one and she exited out. She read the second one, that was good, and she read the third one and exited out. So now she knows what she's focusing on, what she's not focusing on. She gets rid of all the garbage in there and figures out what she wants to go back and reread over and over again to make sure that she has the requirements right, the options, for the grant, picking one, the goals of the program, they're all in this solicitation usually. I'm going to speak while let Katie talk, and then I'm going to go and pull up my solicitation.
One thing that just, I guess, struck me, whether this is perfectly placed or not to mention, is that after writing the solicitation itself, it usually will start out giving you, and this is really important, because you can be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that's about, that's why I'm looking at this, but the mission of the agency. It's really important to keep that in mind, and as you go through the solicitation, everybody has different tools that they use when they're writing. For me personally, I go through, and I know this, oftentimes in these solicitations, they will give you reference material. And that is how, whenever they put all this text together, someone sat down and had to put that together. Believe me, it's teams of people. And so they talk to the community and they're trying to figure out exactly what it is that they need to fund and why. And they will often give you references. Absolutely read those and make sure that they are cited in your proposal. It is actually quite rude not to. So if they've given you that material and said, please make sure you read this, or hey, guess what? We have funded a lot of evaluations. Here's a big packet of evaluation tools. Make sure that you're referencing that and that you're using the tools that the funded support. They want to make sure that you're aware of what they're doing. You're not recreating what they've done. That will get to that a little bit later too. There are databases for a lot of these funders where you can see, and even some of the foundations, there's ways that you can look at their tax forms. This is all public information, and you can see what they have funded in the past. So it's important to make sure that whatever you're proposing, you're going to have a much better chance of succeeding if you're not going to Me-Too project. And if you are doing a Me-Too project, to figure out why. Like, why am I doing this and someone else has already done? What piece am I adding to it? Why is it unique? And at the end of the day, why do I need this money now? And why am I the appropriate person to do this project? That's what you always have to keep in mind. But what I was also going to say is that you read through the solicitation, look for terms that keep popping up over and over again. What I normally do is I would literally write those, whatever it may be, stick it notes with color. There's just certain ways that I think that you just neurologically process things. And I whenever I'm writing. And amazingly, whenever I do that, I find that my writing reflects. And so it's very much mirroring what they're asking for. So it's just a couple of things.
Okay. I hope you can hear me, but you see what I pulled up is the National Science Foundation webpage. It says Education and Human Resources, a new GRFP solicitation is released. That stands for Graduate Research Fellowship Program. So it might be something that you're interested in. And in this, then you can click right here. NSF 18573 is the detailed solicitations. This is what an NSF solicitation always looks like. It starts out, tells you like it's replacing these documents, it replaces the old one, and then it goes down through.
And Marjorie, wait just one second. Okay, I just want to point something out real quick. Sorry for interrupting you. But like this is another thing that I'm telling you, I promise you, this may look like the most boring document in the world, but if you spend your time really dissecting this, it's incredibly valuable. Starting from the very first line, if you look at these directorates, if you know, wow, I'm in engineering, and you don't see engineering listed there, wow, might you be barking up the wrong tree? You need to go ahead and make sure that wherever the funding, this is telling you who is funding this program. So if you don't see the director that you're interested in, it may not be a good fit from the outset. So just do your homework of figuring out what all these pieces are. There's nuggets throughout this whole thing. I know people talk about reading tea leaves. They make it easy. They give you, breadcrumbs that you go through to tell you exactly what they're looking for. And I'm going to tell you, if you read this and you read it carefully, you're already going to be ahead of the game.
Okay, well, and I mean, keep going here because here's the application deadlines, life sciences, application deadlines, psychology, social sciences, chemistry, mathematical sciences, different dates here, but you have to make note of that. Okay, then important.
I was gonna say, and the date says they go all the way to 2020, so they're not just telling you the one coming up. This lets you plan ahead too. So maybe for as a student, you can be double, but if you're thinking about other research grants that are not necessarily student funded fellowships and support, knowing those dates and thinking, oh, well, that gives me time in the next 6 months to try to get some seed funding for this project. And then I can use that to help build a bigger proposal that's not due until October 2020.
And one thing I would mention too about the dates, I think it's really easy because we're focusing very much on what we call pre-award, everything from the beginning. But what you also need to do, no matter who you are applying to, the sponsor that you're applying to, understand the review cycle. So when will it be reviewed and who is reviewing? When you think about any good piece of writing, you need to know your audience. So if you can get access at any time you can to a list of, for instance, for an IH, who is a study group, look at their specialties, make sure you've read things that they have written. Also, a bad idea if you're writing to something and you don't even cite things that they have research in. That's also very not a good forethought. And looking through that, making sure that they know that you're aware of this, make sure that you're aware of this. But understanding the review process may seem like something you do after you've written the proposal. I would recommend that you really pay attention to that and do that in tandem with what you're doing on the pre-award side. To make sure you know your audience, how it's going to be reviewed, when it's going to be.
Any idea how long it takes for a grant to be reviewed? Anybody have any experience with that? Not a year. So at NSF, they tell you at least 6 months. They tell you 6 months. Don't expect to hear anything for at least 6 months. So you're going to submit it in October, and then you're going to wait until the following spring before you even hear anything. Good or bad?
Some have a better turnaround than that.
Yeah, that's for NSF.
But that's for NSF. And okay, here's a synopsis of the program. Here's the program officers. Okay. There's the anticipated types of awards, estimated number of awards. Wow, that's pretty good. Okay. Anticipated funding amount. Okay. It says, NSF expects to award 1,500 graduate research fellowships. Okay. Estimated funding amount. And all the details are here, and then it goes on and on and on, so some of the parts are more important than others, but you have to definitely read them all. I remember one time I was on vacation, taking a 30-page solicitation from the Department of Education with me on vacation, and just one highlighter, and sitting, highlighting away, reading it like a book, basically. And, but this one's probably not that long, but then you get down into the review, merit review criteria, award conditions. Here's the table of contents, applicable table of contents that goes through stuff again. So that was sort of a synopsis at the top, and then keeps going. So this is what a solicitation would look like. This is one of the bigger ones. Let's go back to the presentation. I have some All right, so here's a Fulbright. This is what Jessica was talking about that she received to go. You want to talk a little bit about the application process here?
Sure, I can. So this is Fulbright student grant. So those would be the students. When I was on Fulbright, I was in Hungary, and so it was a really small group of people that were there on Fulbright because it's a really small country. I got to know the students who were there well, and one student had actually just finished her doctorate, but she was still funded through a student grant in lots of different fields. And so Fulbright funds students to go do research in other parts of the world, and they're really considered kind of a bilateral exchange. And so you're really there representing your country and your discipline, and they really want it to be like cultural immersion, and they don't just want to know the full research you're doing, they want to know what you're going to bring to their country, what you're going to take home from their country, they want like a well-rounded experience. And so I got to learn a little bit of that by being able to interview actually Fulbright applicants who want to come to the U.S. while I was in Hungary. And so that's just like here, you get a chance to review journal articles, review conference proposals, review grants. That's where you learn a lot. And so during those interviews, I learned a lot that what they want to know is not just how good your research is. We had some amazing people apply. They would leave the room, and everybody on the panel would say they don't care about anything except they're not even talking about how many students they can bring with them, how many students they can bring the information back to, things like that. And so Fulbright funds students to go do research in other countries, faculty to go do research or to go teach in other countries, and to teach English in other countries. So that's also a really good thing that they do. When I wanted to think about doing this to help fund sabbaticals, so at WVU, if you take a full year sabbatical, you take a salary cut. They don't want to pay you a full year's salary if you're not going to be here. So I wanted it to be a year long so that I would have that kind of make the most of that opportunity to go away for a while. So I wanted to find something that would help make up part of that funding that I would miss from my normal salary. So I went to Fulbright to do research at an institution, do some teaching. There actually was teaching, but it kind of turned more into research. And it was amazing and excellent that I talked to people first. So I knew somebody in that country, and I talked to her and submitted an internal proposal that didn't get funded. And I just kept talking to her, just kept the conversation going, like, okay, that didn't work. But because we were so far apart, we wanted to find funding that would help us be in the same place to work together. So we took that proposal, and I happened to look at Fulbright and see that there were Fulbright grants for her country and for her institution that were open to many disciplines. So we started talking, and I was able to go to a conference close enough to Hungary that I could take a quick train right down there, meet with her boss to talk about the opportunity for me to come visit. And I had that support of actually meeting someone face to face, so that then I could write the proposal and they could write me a letter of support, and then that's how I got funded. And for something like this, they don't always require a letter of invitation, but it makes your case a lot stronger to have those connections there with people you've been talking to, even if it's just electronically or through Skype or something, that can say, we met, we really like our ideas, we want him to come here and do this work for us.
Again, this is a short proposal. I saw this 2-page, who, what, where, when. You saw that, I think it was the statement of grant purpose. A 2-page document outlines the who, what, where, when, why, and how of your Fulbright year, what you want to do. So it's a 2-page, and there's other documents that have to go with it. Affiliation letter, your biographical sketch, things like that. But it's a lot less than the solicitation we were looking at.
It's not as complicated as some of the other ones. It's definitely simpler. Again, with the timeline, remember, so like Fulbrights will be due in August, and you hear in the spring whether or not you're funded for the next step. So with all these grants, it's not like I'm submitting it in October and in November I'm going to start some really cool work and like my idea. It's like, no, the next summer you might get to start that work.
Well, the next thing that you should think about is finding examples. And that is something that we always do, is try to find an example, find somebody who's written what you want to write. And here is a nice website that gives you, this is Rochester, University of Rochester posts essay samples, English teaching assistantship proposals. Here's sample 1, showing you what somebody else wrote. And so usually you can find, or not always, but sometimes you can find what somebody else has written. You might even have a colleague or a friend who's written something similar. You might reach out to somebody you know who's already submitted something like this. And so this is a good practice of trying to find examples for yourself.
I would say even reaching out to people you don't know.
Right, yeah.
and work. So especially for those big research grants, it's not uncommon to go to the NSF website. There's a little map. You can see all the grants they funded under that program. You can click on it. It shows you who the PI is, what the institution. They don't have any of that info. They don't have the grants there, but you can email that person and say, hey, I'm really interested in applying to this, and I see you were successful. Would you be willing to share your grant with me? And I have people say yes, and people say no. A lot of times, I find people are willing to share the grant itself, but not the budget part. They don't want me to see the dollars, but they are willing to share the ideas they submitted and how they structured it. And for them, a lot of times they feel like they're not losing anything by letting you see what they did because it's already been funded. They feel confident in that. They're not giving away any secrets really. But the budget, a little bit harder to get people to share their budgets.
Hey, you wanna comment on any of that? I'm gonna look at a career solicitation now.
One thing I would say is that, again, really know the treasure trove for these different agencies. So for NIH, in addition to some of the things that you'll see for the Fulbright, a great example, NIH actually has a website where they have annotated applications where they've said, okay, this is what we even fund the ones. They have ones that are funded and said, this is what we liked about this is what we didn't like about it. So even though it was funded, there were still things that could be improved on. So go through and look at the website. Just going, even if I had told you that, if you just put in NIH example proposals, you're going to get a link to what that is. So just search for things. The more you spend time, particularly on NIH, I can tell you from personal experience, but the more you spend time on that website, the more you're going to learn. It's just really deep. And again, like even on the foundations, don't think that from a foundation, there's not things that are there. Think broader. I mean, you're in graduate school, and you really have to use these analytical skills that you have been practicing with throughout your academic career. Look at the strategic plan. Look at their budget. I know a lot of times I can just tell you that we have faculty that are really excellent at math, and they're still afraid to work on budgets, or they're afraid to look at financial statements. You can see a lot about someone, an organization can tell you a lot about the rhetoric, about what they're funding, what their priorities are. There's no better place to look than their budget. Where are they actually putting their money? And so if you start there, you start looking at these larger documents, especially if they have different investors that they have to show the information to, it gives you an idea of where they're going, and that helps you again know what their priorities are and how to run.
You wanna talk about the NSF career grants?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
so-
have here, because they might be really interested in that, being, maybe some of them are graduating soon, going to
Yeah.
another,
Okay, so if you are graduating and you plan to apply, it needs STEM discipline or NSF funded discipline. So that can be social science, economics, psychology, anything that's funded by the National Science Foundation. Career grants really are coin of the realm. This is the most prestigious award, the single investigator award that NSF funds. So that is an important thing to get to know. And for certain tiers of research institutions, there will be an expectation that these are received. So it's important to know about. What is unique about a career award that is different than other mechanisms is that you must have two components, and both of those components of the proposal must be written well. And that is that you have to have an education portion of that proposal as well as a research idea. And that may sound kind of simple, but it's really not. Usually you spend a long time figuring out your research questions, your methodology, your evaluation methods, how you want to actually implement that project. You may not have spent a great deal of time thinking about outreach, what kind of broader impacts you may have, and that's something that you will always have to do within this. Intellectual merit, broader impacts of that as part of every review process. On the career, it is particularly important that you can speak to the broader impacts of that, which often involves some type of education. And that language is usually in and of itself very different. Now they can modify the career program to where it is a single investigator award, but it is becoming more acceptable to have various types of collaborations. Those are listed very specifically in the solicitation about what you can and can't do. So you can't have a co-PI like you normally have on a different mechanism, regular single PI or collaborative proposal. But you can have consultants. So for instance, if you are tied into an institution, something we really highly recommend that all of our investigators do. If someone comes to me and says, I want to do a career, I try to figure out what they're doing and then connect them with different institutions or centers across the institution that are already doing something similar. So if someone comes and says, I want to work with veterans, we're going to want to connect them with the Office of Veteran Affairs. If someone comes in and they say, I want to work on STEM education, we're going to connect them with Gay Stewart. Those are things that we try to do because you don't want to recreate the wheel. You just can't. And you're going to start proposing a project, and this is one of the biggest pitfalls for career grants, is that they propose a lot of stuff, and And sometimes one of two things will happen. You will either have very sophisticated reviewers that will look at that and say there is no way that that person can get that amount of work done. If you were proposing 5 years of research, and then you have another basically 5 years of outreach that you're trying to do, that is not going to work simultaneously. And they know that, and so you're going to get paid for that. Or, God forbid, you're going to get funded, and then you can't do it. I'm telling you, I've seen this. So sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you is you get a very unrealistic project funded, and then you can't deliver. And when you don't deliver, it doesn't only hurt you as an individual, it also hurts the institution. And so we really have to keep those things in mind and never be afraid to think realistically. It's much better to have a quality project, perform well, and produce the outcome that you propose versus not being able to actually follow through on the project. And on that note, I also wanted to say, don't ever be embarrassed by a $6,000 project. Just like with your volunteer activities, that is proof of concept. I can't say that enough. I think that too often people downplay what they've already done, and so they've had a smaller report or they've done volunteer activities. There's so many things that you learn through that process, and that shows the sponsor that actually I kind of know what I'm doing, or I've learned mistakes by watching what other people have done. And really, it's just a matter of being able to explain that in your own words about what you have learned. So that takes some contemplation and drafting of your own about what did I learn about that, and how can I apply that to what I'm doing now. That's exactly what you should have been learning your whole time here in your academic career, is how to think critically, analytically, and be able to express what it is.
Well, I had up there a minute ago the webinar. There's a webinar for this solicitation that you can go to. There's also a publication of FAQs, so that you can look at all the questions that you might want to ask and have, what other people have asked. So there's lots of answers for you in these webinars and these questions. Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about then is how to read agency guidelines. Probably should stay over there because the agency guidelines are different than the solicitation. So along with, if it's a large agency, they may, especially in that other agencies have NIH. So they have guidelines and they're very helpful, but they're also very explicit, down to the point where they tell you what kind of font you may use. You may use Times Roman 12. You may use Arial 12. You may not use anything else, or it will not be accepted. And so the guidelines are very important. You would hate to have your wonderful idea rejected because the font was wrong on your proposal, but that is just exactly what they would do. And so it's just, that's how picky they are. So you want to, oh wait, that's why I said you must follow them explicitly. They are sometimes in a separate document, and I do have a link for the grants and proposals guide for NSF on the next slide, I believe. So we'll talk about.
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick that I've had, when I submit my proposals internally, the Office of Sponsored Programs, that a lot of people complain about, but like I love them because they will get back to me and be like, you forgot this line, you didn't even mention this at all, or one of your co-PIs, their font is wrong, and I've had that. The co-PI, they just send it to me as a word. But they will use that as an excuse not to review a proposal because it is so competitive to get funding. They have a very limited pot of money to get out, and it makes their job easier when they can see people who just are not following the rules, and they can just exclude those proposals from being considered for funding. So those are the things that you can avoid, right? They can give you good feedback on lots of other stuff, but you don't want it to be about the things that you have told.
Okay, so should I show the, okay, well, let me show you the guidelines. Sorry about that, the guy that's taping.
I'll talk real quick at some of the smaller agencies. So we have, Mark mentioned the Tensor Grant a couple of times. That's from one of our professional societies in mathematics, Mathematical Association of America. That's a really small 3-page proposal that you can apply, you can receive up to 3 times. So I've gotten that twice now. That solicitation has every detail I would possibly need in it because it's a really small professional society and they don't have all the time grant programs. So they put all the details in one document. But as they're saying, for some of the bigger agencies, they just can't. They have some kind of uniform guidelines that have to be followed, which is what Mark's talking about now, and then they have the specific details for that program that you might be interested in.
You want to talk to this, Katie? Does she know it very well?
So, you'll learn very quickly. I also a great tool that you probably use a lot in graduate studies, but definitely peruse the table of contents, give you an idea of what's there before you start reading in depth. With the proposal or policies and procedures guide for NSF, it is basically not in equal thirds, but there are 3 different parts. So the first part is going to tell you about the agency, who they are, what they run, how many divisions and directors they have, and so that gives you good background information. Again, go back to the point about what I was talking about the word chart. Understand who you're writing to. Then you go into what we call the pre-award side, which is everything we talked about today. Everything from funding opportunities, doing the proposal, the budget, etc. Everything to the point of submission. Then you have the post-award process. And again, you might think post-award process is not important to me now. I have to wait until I get the grant. Not true. If you spend just a few hours just skimming through this information, the post-award side will really help you in the development. Because you have to make sure that those rules that they're telling you about, particularly as it relates to the budget, again, budget is very important. When you go through and you read those guidelines and they tell you what you can and cannot spend your money on, if you just spend a few hours reading this, you're going to be in a much better position whenever you go think through your project about what you can and can't. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, something I wanted to let you know is that you can see where there is a conflict between, say, the proposal guide and the solicitation for the RFP. In those cases, if they are aware of that conflict, it will often state that there is a conflict and this is the rules you should apply. So you should either defer to the proposal guide or you should defer to the solicitation. Now, I can tell you that in my years of doing this, that there are instances whenever there's a lot of information included in this, and I've had to reach out to the purple officer and notate that there was that conflict. And then they let me know, thank you very much, we did not realize that was there, and then they resolve it. And so don't be afraid if you've done your research. Definitely don't contact anyone about anything until you have read everything you possibly can. I just really want to state that because it's very annoying to purple officers whenever you, even in your own organization, everybody wants to help, but everybody's also incredibly busy. So if you ask a question that shows you have done your research, that's not really good career. So you want to make sure that you've done that before you reach out to someone. If you have, certainly don't be afraid to contact them. And how I usually phrase it is, I let them know in my communication. It doesn't have to be long. I have done this. I have searched here, and this is what I have found. And I cite number and verse about what I have found, and it shows I'm exhibiting to them. So when someone says I need help oriented, that's well and good, but you better show me what does that mean. And so you exhibit that in your communication and how you're doing what you really are to help oriented. So that'll help you as well in your conversations.
Okay, so now are you all scared about what you definitely don't want to write in this up.
It's actually fun.
It really is fun. I mean, the first one I wrote was very daunting, but let me tell you how I started to, get into grant. I had a very good friend who was an excellent grant writer. She would do grant writing workshops and bring teachers in, and that person allowed me to work with her on her grants, and that's what I suggest when I say, how to find some partners. One of the partners you can find is a mentor. Somebody was just talking about, well, I'm getting ready to graduate. Can I personally apply for a grant? Do I have to have a big agency around me to apply for a grant? Okay. If I have a research idea, can I personally apply for a grant? Well, you can think of it several ways. First of all, what I said is reach out to a faculty member who might have similar interests. Wouldn't it be great if you went to a faculty member and said, hey, I've got a really good idea for a grant that I would like to write and include you on? That would be great if, I would be thrilled if a student came to me and said that. But then there is a second way that an individual, I'll just talk to this for a second, could get funded, and that is by starting your own business. And I've done this in the past, and just a little, an example of this was trying to get funding for that device and the software that we were talking about for students with visual impairment. Well, actually, I had an idea, and I had a partner, or I had someone I knew who had a business, a small business. And so he said, do you have any ideas that you would like to pursue? I gave him the idea and the written proposal that I had enough funded, and he turned it into a small business proposal. So you can actually even start a business. I've had friends who had great ideas and just started a business around their ideas. They went and opened an LLC, gave it a name, applied to an agency under Small Business Innovation Research, which is money set aside for small businesses in many different agencies, the Department of Defense, National Science Foundation, things like that. So if you're really ambitious, you can even start your own business and apply. He actually applied to NSF SBIR. He got the funding. It was a little touch and go at times because he had to prove that he had some fiscal responsibility and things like, an accountant on the side, things like that, some money in the bank. But he made it work. He went to a bank and said, I have $1 million. I want $1 million proposal. Can you give me $40,000 to put in my bank account so they'll give me the rest of the money and they'll pay it back? And they bought it and they gave him the money. And so there are things you can do, even as an individual, if you have a great idea that you think you can get funded. But the way that you need to build up a team usually you can't, even with a great idea, do it all yourself. Even if somebody gave you $1 million, even though they gave me $1 million, I couldn't myself develop the software, have the hardware, find the features, do all that. So we build a team. I needed a hardware person. I needed a software developer team. I needed some education consultants for students who were visually impaired. That was my area of expertise. My area was technology. So bringing all those people together to bear. And so I see, some of you were talking to people at your table. Maybe you found some great partners here today that has liked your idea and had different abilities to bring to the table. But the team usually is made up of not people that are just like you, but people who have various abilities that you don't have that fill in the weaknesses that you have. So you want to say, Billy?
Yeah, I'll tell you that when you submit that proposal, it has to be reviewed by someone. And usually that's going to be a group of experts. And so they're going to be able to tell by reading your proposal, including the team you propose, whether or not you're going to be able to do the work. So I've been able to sit on some reviews at MSF, as I mentioned, and when we're in the room and we're reading the proposal, we think like, oh, this sounds like a really good idea. And then we look at it and they have no support built in, no advisory board, no experts in the field or in software development or in business or accountants. They don't have any of that. We know they're not going to be able to get it done. So it's not just whether or not you have a great idea, it's whether you put all the other people you're going to need, and knowing if you're really detail oriented, knowing you can find a person that's better at big picture, better at outreach, better at whatever it is that you might not be the greatest at. Getting all those people and getting all those skills on paper lets the reviewers know that you're thinking about everything for them.
I would just say that I think, again, I'm trying to think very much about where I was at the same place, like in your academic career. And I think at this point, you're really very focused on what it is that you're doing. You're learning your methods and exactly what it is that you want to do your research on. As you grow in your professional and academic career, I think it's really important, speaking upon what Jessica is saying, to step back and look at different skill sets. How do you develop personnel? You're going to end up doing that at some point, whether you're employing a graduate student yourself or whether you're employing other individuals because you're now a business owner. There's people that you're going to need to work with. So start trying to develop those, attend workshops, or really monitoring people and just saying, like, that person really needs to do that well. Like, making sure a team runs well is not an innate skill set. That is not something that comes easy usually, unless you just happen to have a team that really works well together from the start. I have had those happen, but they're very rare. And so I think just trying to think through and figuring out, how do I make sure that I have those appropriate skill sets myself to try to engender teams. And there's a whole field of research on team science. It's very interesting, particularly about understanding how those things work and how you can facilitate, the collaborations. And you oftentimes need someone who leads in interdisciplinary projects that's more of a translator, who can kind of look at things and do research from different disciplines. And that's really the role that I play for the college whenever we have these larger projects, is to say, well, actually in this discipline, they're using this term and you're talking about the same thing, but you can read the body language in the room and see it's not connecting, and try to help people realize actually we are talking about the same thing. How do we deliver this job to get to where we want to go? The other piece of it is, I think there's such seriousness about what it is that they're trying to talk about and do, but it really is a lot of fun. It's like creating, whether you are a business-minded person or not, truly it is creating a business. every time you write a proposal, it is like creating a business. You are thinking about personnel you are hiring, you are thinking about the outcome and the end product, whether it is a product, even for those who are in basic science, there's research that you're producing, there is still an outcome that you're trying to achieve. So if you think about it that way, it kind of helps you think about what are the pieces that I need to have in place to make sure that this product runs well. If I was thinking about this as a business, what would I need and what kind of support would I have? And then you can kind of create a checklist to do that as well. So we look at projects and we say, do we have what we need? And then you see the gaps and you talk to your institution and you say, can I fill in these gaps? And if not, then you don't pursue it. Always about using your time wisely. The more you do it, the more you realize that. You'll end up working on projects that you think, wow, I spent 18 months working on that. And like Jessica and Marty had said, like, what do I do with it? Make sure that you're pulling that into something else. Even if it's a piece of it, you can't use the whole thing and just learn from it and move on. But you start becoming very, very judicious about your time and everything.
Back to teams, and then we'll address like what happens when you don't fund your proposal doesn't get funded. But back to building teams, though, I've been on a lot of collaborative proposals and a lot of collaborative projects, and team is the most important part. And when you get in a room with a bunch of smart people, you can't think that you have to lead all the time. Think about back to a project Katie and I worked on when I first joined the university, like 11 years ago. It was the advanced grant. Some of you, you know the WU Advanced Center. The project that it was to recruit, retain, and promote females in STEM and the social and behavioral sciences. So that was going to be a huge proposal, and so we were all in a room, well, who's going to be the PI, and who's going to, do what? So, my stance was, I don't care what role I play, but I want it to be the right role. You have to look and see. So I stepped back and decided I wanted to be an evaluator on the project versus a principal investigator. And so other people stepped up, and actually it ended up the president was the principal investigator on the project. But that's the kind of thing. You have to be a good team player as well as a good team leader. Everybody can't lead. And so I learned early on, you have to check your ego at the door. If you really want to see this project go forward, you figure out what role is most appropriate for you. You might not end up leading, even if it's your idea. You might step back and say, I want this funded, so I want someone else to lead it who will actually get the funding. Like you were saying, well, I've got this great idea, but I'm just one person. I'm a grad student now. How am I going to get the funding for it? You might have to hand that off to somebody who's got more reputation. And be careful. I mean, you want to still be part of it, but you want the thing funded too. You want to be able to work on it and get the funding. So building a team, figuring out the roles. But my one recommendation is that you clearly define roles. When you go in and you're working with a team, you outline what the roles are. You make it clear to everybody. You set up some kind of document that outlines, okay, you're going to be our technology partner, and your statement of work is this, and you're going to be our hardware partner, and your statement of work is this. That's actually required to do work. So what the expectations are, and you keep everything in writing. I believe I do this even with my family members. If we make an agreement, I taught my son and my daughter, if we make an agreement, we put it in writing so we know what the expectations are on my part and what the expectations are on that person's part. So that just makes a good relationship in the end, where you don't have people coming back saying, oh, I thought you wanted me to do this. And well, no, I didn't want you to do that. I wanted you to so you have this all spelled out, and the team then will start functioning properly.
Yeah, I'll say a couple things. As you go through and you work on more and more projects, you work in more and more teams, and as grad students, you probably are members of groups in labs, and you see the things that run well and the things that don't, and those are things to start paying attention to as you move up, as you start to run your own projects. What are the things that are working well that you want to make sure that you're doing? And so, as Marty said, taking notes, like when I'm running a project, I like to have regular meetings, and then I take notes and send everyone just to make sure we all agree we know I'm on the same page. The other thing is you start to notice who you work well with and who you don't, or what types of people you work well with and not. And so Margie and I were working on a project a few years ago with some colleagues in our department, and we had really good ideas, but Margie and I were just better at getting the tasks done that needed to. And so we leave that meeting and we go have our own meeting where we would get things done. And they'd say, oh, you want us to cover that? And we'd be like, because we would just sit there and talk the whole time, and then we wouldn't actually get it. So just starting to pick up on what are your strengths and the strengths of the people in your group for different parts of the project is really, really helpful. And this makes things go so much more efficiently. Even a project that's established, if you haven't talked about something that might be 2 years down the road, like author order on a paper or a field where that's not spelled out like by some sort of standard, that can lead to some discomfort later on. And so if you lay all that stuff out while you're thinking about a project early on, like I'm going to take the lead on the parts I'm really passionate about, so I want to lead those. You take the stuff you're really excited about, or we take turns, or we go down the lane, whatever that is. Laying out all those rules up front just makes the team work a little better as you go on. Because some of these projects can last for years.
Question.
How do you navigate how to junior mentor project? I know that's really helpful that your so what do you think situations where
It hasn't received funding.
that haven't received
Sure. Okay, so I'm really glad you asked the question because I think there is a common misperception that you should, and this used to happen more rarely. I think people really have picked up on this really through the past couple of decades, so it's not relatively new. But oftentimes people would contact someone who is very senior in the field, who has been funded often, and they put them on the project for like, there's especially with the NIH, first of the month of the factor that you have to do was what percentage is that person contributing to the project. So they would have their name on there, including biostats, et cetera, but they would be on there for like literally 1% of the time. So if you think about that over whether this is a 9 or a 12 point, how much time are you really dedicating to the project? But the goal in that, usually previously the strategy was to get that person's name on. Really a better strategy is to think about long-term, the phases. Do you need to bring in another partner? I don't think that you should, my personal opinion, is because it will show up in your writing. It will show up in the budget. It will show up in everything you do because it's the nature of what it is. These are urgent projects. So you can't just do something for the sake of, I think this is going to get you the money. What you really need to do is step back and say, why am I partnering with this individual to do this project? Is this the appropriate individual to do the project with? And is it the entirety of who I should do the project with? So perhaps that person is absolutely the best person that you need to be working with, but you need to bring in other partners. So those partners need to be genuine. There needs to be a reason why they're on this project. If there's not a need for them to be joining that project, then perhaps you need to apply for a certain level of money from a different type of sponsor, or maybe with the NIH, different mechanism. So you don't go all out for an R01, maybe you apply for an R15 if you're eligible, which, like I was saying earlier, just when you're in college, on the other side of the campus in non-health sciences, but the arts and sciences side of the campus, we are eligible for R15, academic research enhancement awards. So that's what I would say is that whenever you start to look at the project, make sure that you know why you're applying for that particular mechanism. Is it the number of years of the project? Is it the number of amounts? Is it the fact that it's renewable or not renewable? And then look at the proper team. But I think you absolutely hit upon a good point that you also have to be very realistic. You look at your competition and you say, there is really no way that I'm going to get this award from this particular bio. Don't do it. Use your time in different ways and then short up why your bio is going to be strong. And it's just like whenever I really feel like whenever you start your career, you're looking at jobs and you say, this is my first step in my position. And then you look, I really would encourage you to actually look at the next job that you want and know ahead of time where are my deficiencies. Because if you don't see what your deficiencies are, then you're going to spend your time in a career and then look up 5 or 10 years later and say, I want to do this, but you're not going to be prepared for that. And it's the same thing with your grant activity. If you look and say, this is the thing that I want to apply for, but just be realistic and say, maybe I can't apply for that one, but where the deficiencies are, I can help come in to shore them up. And that may not be a quick answer, but it really is the right.
Any other questions? I should have stopped earlier. Any questions about what we just talked about? Partners, teams?
I used to work at NIH before I finished studying.
So if you are applying for like a 3-month NIH, and I also prepare for
co-PI or the PI or the TEI? I think that it again goes back to whenever you're going to mentoring, when anything that has more of a mentorship kind of component to it, you have to have a mentorship plan. And so that should, your team should match your plan. So if the goal is that as a graduate student, I have a skill set that I need to learn. In that mentorship plan, you're going to outline what that is. What are the skills that I need to learn? And then you're going to align personnel that's going to help you with the skills that you need to learn. So and always, this is a great way to think about this. I don't care what your career is. Look at your job description, look at what you're trying to propose. And I think about it as a faculty member. If you go in a standard faculty member role, it's 40-40. So 40% research, 40% teaching, 20% service. If you basically break those ratios out to your own component and you say, I need to learn this about my research methodology. I need to learn this about evaluation, or I need to learn this about business practices. And then attach a ratio to that to say, okay, how much time in a week do I think I need to spend and back that up to a percentage? And then you can start attaching that in a real quantitative way to what mentor I need to help you with what. And you'll be able to look at it like a reviewer would and say, is that realistic? So if your development, bottom line is, if your development plan is 90% of it needs to be X, and the PI is the person to do that, then that's the way it needs to be aligned, or do you need other people because they don't have that? Does that make sense?
Any other questions?
I mean, for receiving the grants, is writing the proposal is all we need to do. Is any after step? Is there any interviews, something like that? I mean, if
Yes,
it's getting accepted, is everything done?
Normally, I mean, all the ones that I receive, we just submitted the proposal and it's reviewed by, and it ends up in probably 10 to 12 people who review your proposal, experts in the field, and they bring them from different areas. You have a program officer with the Department of Education. You work with a program officer there, and they actually help you write and you can review, and then they send it to their reviewers. And you usually just get a letter that says, I mean, you don't have a lot of contact with anybody at the agency. In a sense, you don't contact anybody really during their review process. Department of Ed's a little bit different. You can contact the program officer. At least in the program I was funded under, and he would help me. But once it went to review, I didn't hear anything until I got the letter. Either you're awarded or you're declined. Usually you get the declines pretty quickly. The awards are fine. Sometimes you'll get questions, like they'll say, well, we have some more questions. So that is a way that they might, the program officer that you submitted to might say, well, we have a list of 12 questions that the reviewers came back with. That's a positive sign that they're considering you. Doesn't mean you're going to get funded, but they are considering you. I've had times when questions resulted in a funding. I've had times when questions, unfortunately, resulted in no funding, which really, upsetting, but, that's how it works.
I was going to say that sometimes reviewers will come back with questions they want me to answer. But the other thing is it depends. I think if you're applying for something like a fellowship or like a Fulbright. So I specifically chose Hungary because it's a country. I thought it will be less competitive, which I think it was, and open Fulbrights in the UK that people want. For one thing, there's not language barrier when you're coming from the US to the UK, right? So I had a colleague who had applied for one of those and received one, and there was an interview round. So I was fully expecting I was going to have an interview round if I made it that far for my Fulbright, but I didn't. I just got the congratulations. But I do think for some, there will be an interview component, especially if it's kind of an individual award for a fellowship.
One thing that, this is a good question. One thing I did want to point out, we usually start from the beginning, but we talked about grants, so that was one mechanism we talked about. But there are a continuum of different mechanisms that you can use. So you go from a contract to a cooperative agreement to a grant. And those different tools are actually very different. So a contract, if you were going to go into and enter into a contract, it's very specific about what you have to deliver upon, and there's not a lot of flexibility with that. A cooperative agreement, which often is also listed from the sponsor, is that they're going to be more involved. So the grant that Marjorie mentioned earlier, the NSF Advanced Grant, was a $3.2 million award. The agency said, wow, this is a significant enough award, and the type of mechanism that it is difficult to accomplish. And so because of that, we want to make sure that as we give you money after a certain period of time, we're going to come and visit your institution, and we're going to make sure that you're doing well. We're going to give you feedback, and we're going to have an advisory board that's going to advise you on that. That's very much what a cooperative agreement looks like. So it's very different than the part of the continuum we talk about a grant where you propose it, you get those funds, and then you're very, very much the project manager. And that value we talked about on the findings is tells you how much flexibility you have. So the budget is obviously a snapshot in time. So as things change, it tells you what you can and cannot do with your funds, which categories you can move out of. The cooperative agreement has a little bit more involvement in that, where the grant has much more flexibility. So if you think about it from like the beginning to the end, contract very inflexible and has very hard deliverables. For your cooperative agreement, you get a little bit more involvement, but less, less stringent than the contract. And then the grant gives you the most flexibility. Is that all that kind of frame things?
Okay, so we just have a few minutes left, about 15 minutes left. So we wanted to go through a little bit of the details of how to write a mission proposal. So we've talked about how to find the solicitation, the agency, but how do we start writing? So, my first comment is, I'm not really quite sure how you write a mission proposal. I think you just have to jump in and start. And the problem is that, when you send these in, you will have a set of reviewers. Like Jessica was saying, I've been a reviewer, I'm sure you've been a reviewer on the board. And these are humans. And so they may or may not like your idea. And they may or may not think you're worthy of getting the funds or that you can do the project. So it's a lot of opinions, and different board could have decided a different way. So I don't want to say it's rolling the dice, but it's pretty much like rolling the dice. But, when you send it in, you just hope for the best. So how do you, so just to start, and maybe you did a little bit of this at your table, the green sheet can guide you through some things. Well, the green sheet was to read the solicitation, but the yellow sheet you were working with at first was brainstorming your idea. Now that you've found a solicitation you think might find your idea, you've got to come up with an idea, find a solicitation, then you start really brainstorming, what is it that we want to get funded? Is it a big outreach project, or is it a fellowship? What is it? Write down your ideas, brainstorm, gather a group. If it's going to be a team effort, gather a group of knowledgeable people, have them read the solicitation, very important, underline that. Have them read the solicitation, and allow them, to answer the question after that, what kind of activities is this agency wanting to fund, or are they willing to fund? Okay, so those are the kind of things you start with. And then, go to the next slide, and I'll let you guys. How to develop a winning idea. Narrow your ideas, because after you do the brainstorming, you might come up with this. We had one guy I worked with quite often, I'm still working with him, who always has this catchphrase that says, wouldn't it be great if we could, and then he'll say something like, create a holographic, thing that we could use to watch UAVs fly through the air. Well, yes, that would be great, but we don't have $20 million. So what can we really do within our budget? So you have to really think about your budget and your ideas simultaneously. Yes, I have these great ideas, but then how much money are they offering, and what kind of time frame am I allowed to use? Is this a 3-year project for $50,000? Then I have to scope what I want to do with that budget and timeline. And so then you're going to think about specifically, and Katie's really good about this, so she reads my proposals and she'll come back and say, where are your goals, where are your outcomes? They need to be front and center. You need to have them on the first page. And so I said, well, they're in there, but they're buried, we got to bring them up. And so we've gone through that conversation several times. But I think it's the next slide with the goals. Yeah, so what are goals? And I'll let you guys talk we get through a couple slides. So what are goals? Your goal or goals is the big idea. It doesn't necessarily have to be measurable. I think I have an example up there. No, I won't next. You may have one or two, and then you will have, like, here's an example, help students who are blind better understand math concepts. See, that was my goal. But that's not measurable, and how am I going to do that? So then I need to have some objectives under that are going to be measurable, like I'm going to develop software that includes haptics, sound, and we'll have visual because we have some low vision students. So that is one way I can reach that goal of helping students better understand that. So when you start your proposal, the things that are front and center, you have to have a good idea, then you have to have a goal that you want to accomplish and some specific outcomes that are measurable, time dependent, smart. That's on the next slide. Yeah, there it is. You want to talk about you want to talk about the outcomes and the goals?
And so I will say that, talking about all of the details and the nitty-gritty, it can be overwhelming, it can be a lot of work. But as Kate was saying earlier, I actually think it is the most fun part of my job currently. So I can teach calculus for 3 hours back to back, and it can get a little bit boring sometimes. I can grade papers all day, I can do all this, but I feel like when you're writing grants, it's like the one time you can be the most creative. Because it's when you get to be like, I could just do anything, what would I do? I would do this thing, it sounds really fun, and here's how I would do it. And so I do think it's kind of like a necessary evil sometimes at first, but you can really develop it into something really enjoy. You get to really decide what you want to focus. So that I think can be really exciting, even with all of these details here. But putting together the right team, coming up with objectives. So one of the resources that was here at WU, I think it's still here, but I was able to early on was, well, besides Katie as a resource, as my research team, I have sat in her office many times, while she's both read and giving me feedback, but also just helped me put it in the system. When we switched to a new internal system, I'm like, I don't even know what buttons to push, Katie, sit with me please for 30 minutes. So again, knowing your deadlines and asking people that can help too with enough time for them to schedule you into their office is really nice. But there was a workshop here about how to write money proposals. And so actually at that workshop, I attended in my first couple of years here, they said to me, like, we're funded as a grad student with an NSF fellowship, how come that's not in here anywhere? Like, that's not part of the research I want to do now. But like, no, but they need to know that. Like, you have funding from NSF, you were successful, you got your work done, so like, you need to put that in there. So that idea of those really small grants or those things that you think are not related at all, but they are successes, like, you should put in there. But I didn't think about that because it wasn't related to the project I was trying to propose. But now there are guidelines that are really clear about like what's past support, what results have we gotten from past support that they'll ask you to include in there as well. So all of those resources that you can come up with, all those little things, and then keeping track of them. It's really hard when you write a proposal when you have a really good idea, but you have to keep track of all of the ideas you've had before, all of the past really small things that you've had. Constantly updating your CV, keeping a list of people who have ideas that you're interested in and you talk to at conferences or in workshops. All of those things will really help you and save time later when you're trying to put together.
I'm going to take 60 seconds just to do a summary because we don't have a lot of time. I'm very big on organization, so I think the takeaway or the stuff that I would say is just every time you work on a grant, you're going to be working on your research skills, your writing skills, your project management skills. So anytime we have the opportunity, that really overall you're going to put them into those bins as well as team development. And then the only thing that I would say that I think we haven't really touched upon that I think is incredibly important no matter what we do is do not be afraid of conflict resolution. I think knowing going in that if there's an issue or a problem, that the best teams are able to talk about those things. And that's whether you're leading a whole organization or to talk about them, identify what they are, be able to learn the skill sets to be able to communicate about that. Because the thing is that we're usually in a small group of individuals in your discipline. So you need to know how to be a good collaborator, how to pick out good collaborators, and how to keep that relationship over time. You don't want one particular project that did not work out well to define the rest of your perhaps career or people that you can partner with later on. So it's better just to address any kind of conflict early on and have tools to move forward with that. And that really is a skill set. So that's something else to kind of pick up along the way as you can and practice it. Where you can, like Marty said, even if it's within your family, safe environments where, you're not going to relegate you to the no partner, kind of area. Just practice those skill sets. They really are important. And I didn't think we talked about that very much today. So.
Well, and we got a question earlier on about what do you do with these unfunded proposals? Can you put those on your CV? Can you, what good are they? You've written something, it went in, and then you funded. That will, if you plan to embark on trying to write grants for funding, that will be your experience at some point. I was lucky, like the first couple I wrote got funded, but that was unusual, but it was because I had a good team behind me. I was working at a research agency, and it was all the team that, so I give them the credit, not myself. I had an idea, and they helped me get it funded. But after that, I had so many that weren't funded, and I started getting the stories that, I couldn't submit it anymore. But you really can't get discouraged because these are all learning experiences. Like I said, I made great partnerships, and even though that one didn't get funded, they come back to me and ask me to be on a proposal that they're writing. So you get great, and I do, when I went up for promotion or went up for tenure, I did write in all the grants that I did not get funded. I put that in my documentation. Here's the ones that I submitted. They were reviewed, but they weren't funded, because that's a lot of work. It could be several months of your life, or several, even, over a year's time. So those things you need to accept and realize they're great learning experiences. First time you do anything, of course, it's going to be hard, and you may get a rejection. You can't let that bother you. You have to see it as a learning experience and take the advice and make it better. And then go. We even have a funding mechanism within our college that says if you have an unfunded proposal, we're going to give you money to work on it and resubmit it, because they don't want people to get discouraged and not resubmit. They're really important ideas. So, questions?
Would you resubmit that to the same funder? I mean, if they
Yes.
get it and would they not like have a bad idea?
It'll be a whole new review
Excuse
team.
me.
Probably.
Could you please repeat his question?
Oh, yes,
I want to have
will.
this here.
So he said, I think you said, do you submit it to the same funding agency? And yes, you do. And a lot of times they will tell you some really good things to redo about your proposal. They'll say, this was a great idea, but we didn't like this or this, and so you just go ahead. Now, the problem is, in many agencies, you're not submitting it back to the same team. In some agencies, like Department of Ed, I think it goes back to sometimes the team to review it. So yes, you can submit it again to the same agency, same solicitation next year.
And that depends a little bit on the feedback you get too. So when you get the reviews back, and they will also rate some agencies your proposal like competitive but not funded, or like not competitive at all. So those kind of things will also give you some feedback. But if some of the feedback you get is, this is the wrong program, this is really more like a, an outreach type grant, you should be looking at other mechanisms, then for sure you're going to want to go elsewhere. But if they say you really liked it, but it had some issues, then that's definitely some place you want to go back to. And it also gives you that time to even talk to the program officer and saying, like, I didn't know this was going to be an issue. I have some ideas for remedy. And that'll make it much better. And then I just wanted to say one more thing too, that we talked about how long of a process this is, and so when we're talking about putting a team together in case that if there's conflict to deal with, by the time you hear back on a proposal, it could be a year and a half that you've been thinking about, talking about, maybe already working on this work. That it's a 3-year project. It's not over at the end of that 3 years. If you get funded, that's like, then you have another 3 years of working on data analysis, writing a publication. So it's not like I only have a few more months to get through with this collaborator. It's not like you can still have years to work on this work. So just remembering that these projects are funded for a short time, but they usually are much longer projects than what you're actually getting money for.
Any other questions? I know it's time, sorry for cutting short, but thank you. Before you go, please, you should have received an email from us for evaluation. We really would appreciate it. It only will take you 1 minute, okay, at most 2. Okay, please fill those out. You can do it now if you like.